Happy day, my name is Jennifer Quijano Paredo of Protect Services. So when COVID hit, everything was about COVID, COVID this, COVID that, and somehow even my equipment was catching COVID. But joking aside, my equipment is important in our daily operations. Somehow I was having a difficult time getting through SBA. They were just giving me a runaround. So I reached out to our congressman's office, and with their team and the Guam SBA, they were able to help me in getting our truck repairs as well as another truck to keep our businesses running. And in the future, if you guys have any federal concerns or issues, reach out to your congressman's office.
Thank you for helping save small businesses with federal funds.
Thank you for helping save small businesses.
Thank you for helping small businesses with federal funds.
This ad was paid for with official funds from the Office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
Hafa This is Governor Lou Leon Guerrero. If you're struggling to pay rent and utilities because of the pandemic, your government can help. Our Emergency Rental Assistance Program provides direct relief to you. To date, over $6.9 million has helped over 1,500 households.
Apply online at eoa.guam.gov or call the Department of Administration's Emergency Rental Assistance Program at 671-638-4518 or 19.
Bottom line is we're going to make you a better person. You're going to be healthier and fitter than you were before.
Buenas Micronesia, I'm Troy Torres. You are joining us here on the 7th floor of the DNA building in Hagåtña, Guam. Thank you so much for joining us for this afternoon's edition of Kandit News. Yesterday, there was what we have termed here a rumble. In the CNMI Senate, there was a very tense moment when Senator Paul Manglotnia, after having a verbal argument with Senate President Jude Hofschneider, about wanting to speak on the record and with the cameras rolling on behalf of the people of the CNMI against what he and frankly many others see as highly stacked rules in favor of Governor Ralph Torres, proposed impeachment rules for the impeachment trial of Governor Ralph Torres. Senator Paul Manglonia just wasn't having it, and he wanted to call it out. He wanted to speak on the official record, and Senate President Jude Hofschneider wouldn't let him do it, and so they had a little bit of an argument. Senator Manglonia returned to his seat while the Senate was officially in recess and while the cameras were not rolling, at least officially. Though there were civilian cameras that were rolling from the public gallery, and I believe from KSPN too. And as soon as he sat down, he said that he was going to take the senators to court for the obvious stacking of the rules in favor of the governor and for what he believed were unconstitutional measures some senators were taking. And then you saw Senator Victor Hokug, his colleague from Rhoda, bang his arms on the table. He gets up. Senator Manglonia gets up. Senator Hokug rushes to Senator Manglonia in what can only be seen as an attempted assault on Senator Manglonia. One of the officers of the legislature had to restrain Senator Hokug. Senator Manglonia was being... I don't know who was restraining Senator Manglonia, but I believe Sergeant at Arms Pedro Tuwai had to jump over a chain link barrier as the entire altercation was taking place. Senate President Jude Hofschneider and Senator Edith De Leon Guerrero had to help in calming down Senator Hokug. Oh, it was a mess. It was not something that you see every day happening in the legislatures, but these things do happen and tensions do rise, especially when you're talking about a subject as, hardy as the impeachment of the governor. And joining us to talk about this from the perspective of an elected official and someone who has been a Senate president and a House Speaker is CNMI Lieutenant Governor Arnold Palacios. Buenas, Governor. How are you doing today?
Buenas, good afternoon, Troy. I'm doing well, actually. And I want to thank you for inviting me to speak on this issue. I'm very reluctant, really. I'm still processing the incident. It's like a lot of people, probably you yourself, still processing it and still shaking our head. But, it happened.
Yeah.
So,
where do they go from here? Where do you think they should go from here, Governor?
Well, in the years that I've been in the legislature, even as a presiding officer in the House and the Senate, and even as chairman of various committees in both houses, I find it important that as a legislative body conducting the businesses of the people, whether it's a legislation, a resolution, or a bill, or any matter that's under discussion that requires public comment, I find it important and very necessary that we accommodate the public. Certainly, when I was I believe in the speaker and as a president, our rules are 5-minute rules, not 3 minutes. And sometimes to the displeasure of some of the members, I've always tried to go beyond the 5-minute rule and try to accommodate folks, especially when there's only 3 people or 4 people that are going to make comments. The 3-minute rule is a little bit restrictive, but who am I to say? And I hope, and I would suggest to our members of the legislature, the speaker and the House, to take a closer look at that possibility of extending those. If there's only 4 or 5 people that are going to make public comments, I think there's room to be flexible, and that's up to the presiding officer or a chairman of a committee that maybe But that situation yesterday really shouldn't have happened. I think Senator Paul got frustrated because you have three individual members of the House that have had to review the rules in a matter of a couple of days over the weekend, and to try to come up with legitimate and well-rounded comments. So they've had to spend time to review the document, 48 rules that was presented by the Senate, and they took the time, took the weekend off to actually review this. And I think that just that effort in of itself, just that effort in itself would I would think that the Senate president would at least give him that courtesy to say, okay, maybe we're going to give you 5 minutes or 7 minutes. Would have taken them probably a whole half an hour to 40 minutes to completely say their piece, because they've had to officially kind of have written comments. So it would have been more flexible, and I think that's where the frustrations of Senator Paul Manglonia, and then of course it escalated into a lot more, or de-escalated worse.
Yeah.
Got worse rapidly.
Are you surprised? Are you surprised that it escalated that quickly?
To be honest, I was.
Okay.
I was really surprised that it got to that point very rapidly. So you could see that, in observation, you could see that the Senate leadership had sort of an agenda where they wanted to move this rapidly. And I thought that Chairwoman Babauta and Chairwoman Sheila and Selena, as well as Karina, had very, very well-written, thought out testimonies, and they got cut off. I was listening intently to some of their testimonies, but they got interrupted. The one gentleman that was up there just finally decided that he's not going to say anymore. He just quit, just left. So that that kind of defeats the whole purpose of input from the public, especially the review period of a very short period. The Friday afternoon, they were able to get a copy of the rules that was adopted in committee, and had to spend their weekend going over it and putting together their written testimony.
Governor, may I ask, and here's the backdrop of it. Do you think that those in control of the political establishment in the CNMI might be losing their grasp on reality, or maybe their ability to hear what the people are thinking, are saying, and believing? Because and the reason I ask this is because a few days ago, Governor Torres brought just basically his people to an official, I think it was a ribbon cutting ceremony over at Tinian for the Divert Airfield. It was just Senator Vinny Sablan, his running mate. It was just those people aligned with his campaign. And so you made a release about it, and you said, hey, there are lots of people going all the way back to Iloilos who made this whole thing possible. You cannot turn this into a political grandstanding mission just because you want votes in Tinian, and you called him out on it. And then the governor came back, and it was very bizarre. And I wondered why even people in his own establishment did not say anything. But he said, you know, I didn't invite them because they don't support me. And why would I invite them if they don't support me? And I just thought that's a very bizarre thing for a statesman to say. And so, again, going back, I know that was a long-winded question, but just, so the question is, are people in the political establishment losing their grip on reality here? Is this how far the situation has devolved?
It is obvious that perhaps they are, and that's unfortunate because, you know, the incident yesterday is a manifestation of that. When you try to restrict people from even submitting and openly expressing their perspective and thoughts on a matter that is very, very important, and that is the Senate trial on the impeachment. That's a monumental undertaking, and so I think, you know, Senator Paul really expressed it real raw. Says, you know, you just muzzle everybody, and that's not how it's supposed to be. So, are people losing sight of a politician losing sight of what civility is about and what democracy is about? Yes, absolutely. You know, I didn't mean to rile the governor up about the Tinian groundbreaking. I could care less, seriously, if I go down there for a photo op with the governor. I mean, really.
It's a photo op. Yeah.
My thoughts on that was, you know, there was, you know, this divert airfield discussion started when Governor Fitio was the governor. That was brought up, and then when he left, late Governor Enos had to address that. And so if you recall, the initial proposal was to have it on Saipan. The initial proposal from the U.S. Air Force was to have it on Saipan. And immediately, Eloy put together a team from the Tinian leadership, and actually all the other leaders from Rhoda and the legislative leaders and even department heads to take a look at one, the environmental issue, and the other one is like, okay, so we have this proposal for the military activity at the Saipan airport when we have already agreed to lands and activities for Tinian. So how is this going to, one, impact our environment, or is this fair to the people of Tinian? Now we're going to take this issue. So there was all this main issues that needed to be resolved, and I believe that late Eloy Enos did just that, and a lot of us were given tasks, and not just myself, but the Department of Community Cultural Affairs, which is the Historic Preservation, the Division of Fish and Wildlife, Coastal Zone, on the environmental side, and then there was this major discussion, really, as to should it be at the Saipan International Airport? So CPA had to weigh in on that, and then the Tinian leadership had to weigh in on that. So there was a whole bunch of people that predated
the Torres administration.
The Torres administration on this.
Yeah.
You know, the mayors at that time was Mayor De La Cruz, Raymond De La Cruz, and then J.P. San Nicolas himself, and then now. So you have three mayors and three leadership team from Tinian, and even folks that were at department level to review this thing, because going through a NEPA undertaking for the Department of Defense is as you well know, is major.
Yeah,
it's a major undertaking, and we've had to even source out some of the review process, but and then you don't even invite a branch of your own government. Come on,
yeah.
let's rise above this nonsense and show some civility and some maturity.
Well, one of the commenters is saying, and this is Adam Safer, says, "No, sir, you are still the sitting lieutenant governor. You should have been invited. Torres is petty and pathetic." The end.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not the only one that's saying this. I feel bad for my colleagues and the leaders, our leaders in the legislature, because they are also sitting leaders, and the reasoning that came out, at least in the paper, was like, why should I invite them when they just impeached me? Why should I invite them when they denied me my 100% program? Are you serious?
It was a bizarre statement. It really was a bizarre statement. Yeah.
Man, this is like a kid stuff, man. It's, and, all I wanted to say in that article was, look, we need to rise beyond this. We're better people than this, I've had to, when I was a Speaker of the House, I ran against Governor Fitio and the late Governor Enos. They kicked our butts. But you know what? 2 weeks later, Fitio gave me a call. He called my house with Eloy, and they actually came up to the house and said, could we have a photo op to show the people that we're beyond this, and then we're better people, and we see. And yeah, I had to drag Heinz and let's go up to Fitio's home, and that was the end of that. But we need to learn how to do that, or we need to relearn how to do that. I mean, Senator Paul probably lost his temper, got really frustrated, and so did Senator Hoko. But we got to learn as leaders in the Commonwealth to learn how to be civil, and there's a fine line that we shouldn't cross. And yeah, there are people there that would vilify me for even saying that. It's like, what are you talking about? You want his job? Really? I don't want his job. I want to do better than his job.
Oh.
I want to do better. I mean, and leave the Commonwealth that job better than when I found it.
There is an opportunity in the Catholic calendar. Tomorrow marks the start of a season of preparation for renewal. Lent begins tomorrow, so my first question is, Governor, where will you be attending Ash Wednesday Mass and getting your ashes tomorrow, and where will that be? And do you have a message for the people of the Mariana Islands in this beginning of the Lenten season?
Yeah, tomorrow I promised the wife that we're going to go to the midday Mass, get our attend a Mass and Ash Wednesday, and it's going to be at Cristo Rey Church down here, our church down here in Garpan. We've come so much, and there seems to be such a I don't know, we're starting to digress in even how we behave sometimes. And so tomorrow is a good day to reflect on that And like you said, a day for renewal and a day of reflection. It's also, you know, I mean, in the midst of what we think we're the center of the universe here. Well, there's a big world out there that, you know, one of them is the Ukraine situation, the Ukraine crisis, and we should pray for them too. And I can only wish that our people begin to reflect on how we can make things better, and not just make things better physically or economically, but how can we make ourselves better as a people and behave ourselves, be civil with each other. There's got to be a limit to what the negativities that we bring to our world, whether you're a leader or whether you're just a neighbor, or whether you're helping somebody who's facing challenges in life. Tomorrow would be a good renewal for that.
Well, please ask Mrs. Palacios if the both of you can pray for me and pray for all of us here at Kandit and in Guam, and we'll certainly return the prayers.
We will. Thank you. We will do that, and I'll ask Mrs. Palacios to do that, and I continue to invite you to Saipan.
Yes.
Come down.
Yes, sir.
If you have time.
We will be there. We just opened Kandit Commonwealth. We are now officially licensed to do business in the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands.
Great. That's great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
So, I hope you didn't have a lot of runaround just to get your business license.
We did actually.
That's one of the things that I really need to try to fix here, how to learn how to streamline and get things a lot easier for folks trying to do business out here.
That would be excellent, Governor. And we have the same problem here on Guam.
Oh, really?
Yes. We call it the 5-stop center. It's supposed to be one stop. It's 5 stops.
Yeah, but you know, I want to thank you for reaching out and having me on your show and to share my perspective. And I hope I didn't piss anybody off enough. I'm just sharing my thoughts.
Yeah,
you know,
and they're good
I'm a very simple guy. I'm a simple guy to get along with. But you know, a lot of people are shaking their heads over the incident yesterday, and even some of the discussions and the diatribes that we hear and read in the paper about, you know, the incidences on Saipan and in the Commonwealth, and we can always try to commit ourselves. Only commit. That's the first step, is to commit ourselves to improve things and go beyond the nastiness and the childishness sometimes that we fork out in order really for us to improve our lives and our community, is to really get back to the humanities and the human basic, the real human dimension of our lives.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah. We're not all, we're all, you know, we all have failed. We all have our failures in life, and if you don't acknowledge that and try to do better or improve on it, then you know you keep swimming in the sewer.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, that's why Troy, when Dave and I sat down to think about this, it took us a long time to make a decision, but we're willing to do it. Just 4-year round.
Well,
offer our help to our people.
And we appreciate the time that you give to us to talk to us about these plans and how you feel on the issues relevant at the time that we're able to call you. We don't talk every day, but we thank you so much for spending this time with us. And we wish you and the mayor and your wives and your families all the best as we enter this season of Lent and renewal.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you.
You have a good day. Bye.
You too.
That was Lieutenant Governor Arnold Palacios, candidate for governor of the CNMI, talking to us about actually a bunch of issues, starting with the unfortunate series of events and the CNMI Senate yesterday, delving into the childishness of Governor Ralph Torres's response and why he did not invite other leaders of the CNMI to the Tinian Divert Airfield ceremony. And then giving us his message about Lent and the season of renewal and how it is his prayer and the prayer of his wife that civility begins to govern the behavior of leaders and that neighbors become good neighbors to each and every one. For Kandit News, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I'm Troy Torres. Have a good day.
Half a day. This is Governor Lou Leon Guerrero. If you're struggling to pay rent and utilities because of the pandemic, your government can help. Our emergency rental assistance program provides direct relief to you. To date, over $6.9 million has helped over 1,500 households.
Apply online at eoa.guam.gov or call the Department of Administration's Emergency Rental Assistance Program at 671-638-4518 or 19.
Have you or a loved one been injured through medical negligence or substandard medical care? Are you angry? File complaints through the Guam Board of Medical Examiners to make physicians accountable. It's time that we stand up to protect our families and the people of Guam. The complaint form can be found at GBME's website, www.guammedical.org. Have questions or want the form emailed to you? Contact us at asher@asherdeanlubofsky.com or our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/bunzoasher. We do not provide legal or other professional info or services. We do this to improve medical care on Guam through medical accountability equity. Justice for those injured or killed through medical negligence on Guam.
The Jones Act is a 1920 law justified on national security grounds as a means to bolster the U.S. maritime industry. It restricts domestic shipping to vessels that are U.S. built, U.S. owned, U.S. flagged, and U.S. crewed. However, this law boosts cost by banning foreigners from competing and forcing Americans to purchase ships that are up to 8 times more expensive than those built in other countries. The result is higher transportation costs. Shipping oil from Texas to the Northeast, for example, costs 3 times more than importing oil from Africa. Ultimately, consumers foot the bill. In addition, higher shipping costs push freight from ships onto other sources of transportation, such as trucks, which means more traffic and pollution. Meanwhile, this blatant protectionism has failed to benefit builders of ships in the U.S., whose production is less than 1% of those in China and South Korea. Domestic builders have seen over 300 shipyards close since the early 1980s. Jones Act defenders claim the law ensures adequate U.S. ships during times of war, but during U.S. deployments during Operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm, foreign flagged commercial ships carried twice as much equipment as their U.S. counterparts. In fact, the U.S. was so desperate for shipping that it twice requested the use of a cargo ship from Moscow. Both requests were denied. So the Jones Act has failed to achieve its shipbuilding and national security goals while driving up costs for consumers. It's time for this outdated, costly, and ineffective law to be repealed. It's time to end the Jones Act.
I feel that this environment is for anybody that wants to try something new. Whether it is CrossFit or powerlifting, we offer a safe space for someone who's never been athletically inclined to try something that they've never done before.